a plan to make us sick, and they don't want us to eat them. And many of the healthy foods that we think are good for us are actually causing a lot of our health problems.
You mentioned fruit in your book, and you compared a beautiful bowl of fruit, and you compared it to
Skittles.
Can you talk to us about why?
So, fruit, be gone Satan. We actually used fruit to fatten up for the winter. So I want people to realize when they're having a healthy bowl of fruit in the morning, you might as well have a bowl of Skittles, because it's the exact same stuff. And quite frankly, you'll probably like the Skittles better.
I think I would like the Skittles better.
Now, remember, don't eat Skittles. But the point is, it's equivalent.
Aww.
Personally, I avoid all fruits, and I suggest my patients do the same.
Stephen Gundry is a heart surgeon turned diet guru and supplement salesman. I had high hopes for this man as a public health advocate after I heard he was doing pediatric heart transplants as a professor of cardiothoracic surgery at Loma Linda University, which is a vegetarian institution. But a big clue to his eventual career path goes back to his undergraduate study at Yale University, with special honors in human biological and social evolution. By creating a, quote, diet based on evolutionary genetic coding, he used this background to capitalize on the low-carb paleo diet marketing trend of the early 2000s with his 2009 book, Dr. Gundry's Diet Evolution. So the first order of Dr. Gundry's nutritional business is getting you off of carbohydrates. With a few exceptions, simple sugars and complex carbohydrates are found in nature, primarily in plant foods.
By now, we all know the connection between sugar and type 2 diabetes. But as a cardiac surgeon and cardiologist, I know firsthand that sugar consumption can impact your heart health too. It can raise your blood pressure and screw up your cholesterol levels. In fact, believe it or not, cholesterol rises the more sugar and even fruit you eat. Yes, you're hearing me correctly. Now, get rid of the sugar. Sugar is lethal. Fructose is so dangerous. You'll see in the book that it's a great way to kill your kidneys. It's a great way to make cholesterol. I mean it. We just give fruit the boot.
Fruit. We're talking about fruit. Raises your cholesterol. I don't think he's uninformed. I think he's deliberately misleading you.
17 people were maybe 20 servings a day of fruit, despite the extraordinarily high fructose content in their diet, presumably about 200 grams a day, 8 cans of soda worth. The investigators reported no adverse effects, and possible benefit actually, for body weight, blood pressure, and insulin and lipid levels, fats in the blood, after 3 to 6 months.
What do you know? People who ate more fruit got healthier and lowered their cholesterol.
More recently, Jenkins and colleagues put people on about a 20 servings of fruit a day diet for a few weeks and no adverse effects on weight or blood pressure or triglycerides, and an astounding 38-point drop in LDL cholesterol.
So, all grains have lectins, whether they're healthy grains. One of the things that's happened to us in the last 50 years is we have actually bought hook, line, and sinker the idea of whole grain goodness.
Yeah. Food.
The other thing that promotes weight gain is beans. Beans are so toxic.
Fast forward to 2017, and the paleo diet has fallen out of favor. Sure enough, Dr. Gundry is back on tour making the rounds with his new low-carb dietary propaganda, The Plant Paradox. I interpret this rebranding as a sneak attack by the low-carb industry. First, he equivocates fruit, which is indisputably healthy, with refined sugar, which no one is saying is healthy. Next, he's telling you about the hidden chemicals in plants that make you sick. Lectins. First, it's the lectins in tomatoes and peppers. Then you come to find out there's lectins in whole grains and beans. Before you know it, you're excluding all fruits, many vegetables, and staple foods like rice, pasta, tortillas, oatmeal, and beans from your diet.
The other thing that promotes weight gain is beans. Beans are so toxic.
First of all, studies show that bean intake has the potential to decrease serum cholesterol concentrations, improve many aspects of the diabetic state, and provide metabolic benefits that aid in weight control. Now, white people in America are eating the most pitiful amount of beans to begin with, just a few pounds per person per year. Meanwhile, Hispanics in America are eating 31 pounds of beans per person per year. Hispanics also eat more corn, more tomatoes, and more peppers. That's a lot of lectins. If beans and lectins are so poisonous as Dr. Gundry claims, wouldn't you expect to see negative health outcomes among the Hispanic population as a result? Quite the opposite. In fact, Hispanics have a longer life expectancy than non-Hispanic whites and blacks in both men and women in the United States. Not only that, but they also have lower rates of lung cancer, bladder cancer, throat cancer, and colon cancer. If beans are poisonous, the people who eat the most of them sure are living longer and getting less cancer. So what is Dr. Gundry recommending you eat?
Basically, we're designed to eat leaves, nuts, and a lot of oil from olives, from avocados, coconuts. And we're designed to eat what are called polyphenols. Polyphenols are good plant compounds. That olive oil has some of the highest polyphenol content of any food.
This is the nutrient content of 100 calories of olive oil on the right compared to 100 calories of leaf lettuce on the left. When we scroll down, we can see the polyphenol content of both. Calorie for calorie, leaf lettuce has 10 times more polyphenols than olive oil. So if you want to eat more micronutrients like polyphenols, I suggest you eat whole plant foods because that's where they come from.
And here's my final tip. The only purpose of food is to get olive oil into your mouth.
Oh, he's recommending you base your diet around refined oil? You know where this is going.
You have to realize that you're carb addicted because your mitochondria, the little energy organelles in all of your cells, are actually dysfunctional, and they're constantly having to have sugar because they think they need it. In fact, what they really need is another source of fuel, and that fuel is ketones. And I know many people have heard about getting into ketosis. So have some MCT oil or some coconut oil. Take a tablespoon 2 or 3 times a day, particularly when you're in those weak moments that you're getting kind of the Atkins flu or the low carb flu. A tablespoon of coconut oil or MCT oil is just the thing to get you going again.
Nah.
Now, I've stopped eating beef and pork and lamb for reasons you'll see in the book, and it's pretty wild, and we won't go into that today. But wild fish, wild shellfish, pastured chicken are perfectly safe.
The Atkins flu is proof that this is just another marketing facelift for the same old Atkins low-carb diet. It's a low-carb sneak attack on middle-aged women. Sadly, Dr. Gundry had potential as a public health advocate. Dr. Gundry, why are you not advocating a whole foods plant-based diet, especially given your background as a cardiac surgeon? Unfortunately, he blamed the carbs for his weight gain, and now he's pushing olive oil and ketosis, and supplements.
We know that lectins have specific targets. They're sugar molecules, and we even know what sugar molecules lectins are particularly designed to be attracted to. So I formulated a compound that has about 8 known lectin desirable sugar molecules that bind lectins. But I've taken it to Italy and eaten pasta and potatoes and not suffered the normal consequences of blowing up like a toad. But so yeah, it's possible to bind lectins. And
did you catch that? Sugar in a pill. Sugar is so unhealthy, he took 8 sugars and put them in a pill to defend you from the lectin boogeyman he ginned up in the first place to scare you away from healthy whole grains and vegetables.
His Majesty's impartial judges to look at this man, who so abused the privilege of public office, who so used treachery in place of justice, who so maliciously corrupted every phase of government with his touch. It is not my place to prosecute or judge this man. I am a prisoner.